Hey everyone, this is Laura at Lymanjoy, and today I'm going to show you how to do a budget closeout. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is Laura at Lymanjoy, and today I'm going to show you how to do a budget closeout. Look, this is the most important part of a budget other than the budget itself. I'm telling you, if you get the whole budget right, but you don't get this closeout right, it's going to prevent you from growth in your financial future. I really believe that closeouts is what makes you have a good hindsight and foresight into the next month and what you have and how you can use your finances the most wisely. So go ahead and stick around for that. For those of you that don't know me, I am Laura from Lymanjoy. I'm a wife, a medical coder, and a mom of 6, and I'm on a journey to become debt-free and break those generational cycles of debt so the next generation can live and give like they were meant to. So if it interests you and you like cash budgeting, wealth building tips, debt payoff tips, then hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up, please, so others can find this video a little more easily. It helps put in that effort that I put into the video and helps the video go out to other people. All right, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Of course, I have my coffee. Grab your drink, grab your papers, do this along with me. Grab your budget if you haven't done a closeout before. That way you can do it step by step while I do it. Straight into it. All right. I have, in the beginning of every month, if you're new here, I go ahead, and I'm going to push this back a little bit. I go ahead and I plan out everything that I'm going to spend that entire month. I make sure that I know what every dollar is going to do. That starts out with a monthly calendar where all my paychecks and my money's coming in are mapped out. Anything that's about to happen in the future, followed by a budget. This is what I think I will spend based off of the last few months and what I spent in each of these categories. So if you're starting off new and you don't know what to start with, look at your last 3 months, map those out, and then take the average high and put it here so that you know how to make sure you have enough money for that category. As far as your actual monthly amount of budget, I always say if you have a variable amount, make sure you pick the last few low ones so you always are based off the little bit amount and never short in your budgeting amount, if that makes sense, okay? So for me, I projected $11,200, and these were the bills, and that was my total expenses. And then I budgeted out my debt snowball, my cash envelopes, my sinking funds, these are short term, and then my long term are right here. I made sure to give myself a zero-based budget. And again, this is the beginning of the month. I don't care if you get 1 paycheck, 2 paychecks, or 15 paychecks. I really believe in making sure you've assigned every dollar to where it should go. Once you've done that, if you get multiple paychecks, then I want you to go ahead and do a budget by paycheck breakdown. So if you only get 1 paycheck, then I think it's fine just to do the monthly. But if you get multiple, here's what you're going to do. And I had somebody ask me in my last video or a video or 2 ago, what to do if you get 1 at the beginning of the month and like 1 away at the end of the month. For me, my bills all come before the 25th of the month. So really anything that I get after the 25th, I put on the next month, if that makes sense. Like my very first paycheck actually comes in, I believe, on the 30th, but I just account for it on the 1st, a part of my new month. So you have to do what works for you, but that's what works for me. And also somebody asked how I'm able to do this, and I split, through paychecks. So like if you don't have enough money to pay your mortgage out of 1 paycheck, you're going to need to break it into 2. And if it's due on the 1st, that means the last 2 paychecks. So in March, if I had to pay mortgage on the 1st, I would need to make sure from February's paychecks, I have it saved up to pay that mortgage on the 1st. And then so I kind of always pay ahead that way. I think really a month or 2 of no spend really can help you get that little nugget that you need together, no matter your income. I actually started this type of budgeting when my husband and I were first married. And I think he was the only one working, and he was making like $11 an hour. So you can calculate that out. Not much, okay? So I just think it's tried and true to always have your bills money set aside ahead of time and not pulling all that money from that first paycheck. Just what I think works and makes it a little more safe. Okay. Now let's figure out what I actually spent. So I actually brought in, this is my actual amount when I went back and looked at all the dollars, all the side hustles, everything I could do. And it was a little bit less than normal. Got to be honest, it was my birthday month. So I kind of just sat back, rested and relaxed and did stuff. And so I didn't hustle as hard as I usually do. I think I brought in more like 12 last month. And so this month is only 11,643, which I still think is good, but I'm going to definitely try to step that up for the next month. My tithing was still that $1,232. My groceries came in at $662, and my gasoline came in at $642. So let's go ahead right here, and we have groceries for $700 minus $662. That's going to give us, we had an extra $38. So if it's a good thing, I'm under, right? I have extra money, I make it green. If I go over, I make it red. This is a nice visual for me to see, looking back, how I did in the month of March. Okay, for gasoline, I should have spent $500 and I spent $642, way over. And this is mostly because my in-laws are moving and they live about 45 minutes away from us right now, but they're moving all over to Tennessee. We live in California. So we've been going up there a lot. We've been seeing them and visiting with them. And so, of course, we have spent a little extra money in gas. So $142 over there. And that ate a little bit of my side hustle. All right, let's keep going. Mortgage is a set bill, so it's always the same, $24.50. My dyslexia school for my son who has dyslexia, $7.95. Donations were the same. My cable bill was actually $98, so I had a little left there. Let's do 128 minus 98, $30. And I have no idea why it was less, so I have to check into that. I honestly have no idea why it was less money. It was great, but I need to make sure nothing was missed. Subscriptions were that 80. And I want you to say, I actually had to redo my subscriptions because I was missing some on my list. So make sure you have something going. At the beginning of the year, when I start all my budget every year, I make sure to map out like all the holidays and things that are special to me coming up, my goals. This is a huge one. My income goal, my debt goal, my savings goal, budgeting, and personal growth. And I make sure to kind of look back and reference this when I'm doing budgeting because I can get all off track, okay? So, and then my cash wallet I planned out for the year, my high priorities, my low priorities, and I also planned out my subscriptions. So I went through my bills for like 3 months and made sure I didn't miss anything. But I actually missed 2 and I recently had to add it. And so I went ahead and add that in to make sure it's all there. I even talked to my husband like, hey, can we remove any of these? Unfortunately, I still, other than maybe the Paramount and the Peacock, I need all the other things to do YouTube and my job and things like that. So that's that. And then I will be updating the savings tracker probably at the end of the year so that I can show you all how it went and how I did as a kind of a year-end fun goal there. If you're looking for forms to plan out your cash envelopes, to figure out how to actually do this, how to plan it, how to kind of think through it and calculate it, I'll put a video right here on how to plan out your sinking funds because that was probably my most hang up when I first started. I did not get how they were getting their numbers or how to do it with my budget. So I tried to make sure in that video to really step-by-step show you how to do that. Okay, my Capital One electric bill. Again, if you're new here, I use a paid-off credit card and I put a bill on it. This one's my electric bill. And on the first of the month, my electric bill is charged to that card on auto pay. I set it up auto pay. And then on the 15th, my checking account bill pays, I set up bill pay, to pay this amount immediately. So no interest is accrued. I still do get the points. I know Dave Ramsey would cringe, but this is where me and Dave Ramsey differ a little bit because I do really need credit for certain things because unless I'm a multimillionaire, I will have to have credit to buy a house or to buy a car. So maybe not so much a car. I probably would buy that with cash, but definitely a house. And so I like to maintain my credit. So it's locked away in a safe. I don't have access to it. It's not saved on any, platform where like Amazon where I could buy or purchase anything with it. It's out of sight, out of mind, but it's creating this really beautiful portrait for my credit and helping me gain, have a really good high credit score. So next is my phone bill. It was exactly the same, $289. Student loan was the same. My car payment was the same. This bill was the same. Of course, car insurance. Yep, that stayed the same way. Home Depot and Kohl's actually was more. It's actually a Capital One card. It used to be Kohl's. It transitioned. And I think I messed up my bill pay. I need to look on there. I think my one of my bills was a little higher than my auto pay. So I just got to change that around so that I don't have that increase there. So that, let's do that. 29 minus 15. That was over $14. Different than the projection. My solar was still that $169. Car wash was the $32. Gab Kids phone was $40. And if you haven't heard of the Gab Kids phone, I know if you've been around, I've said it before, but I just really love it. It's tried and true. I just had a dear friend that had her daughter in a terrible situation, and I gotta tell you, the internet is definitely a dangerous place. And so if you just don't want to deal with it, you don't want to deal with the monitoring and the Bark, Bark's a good app to use that to monitor it. But personally, I just chose Gab Kids phone. It looks like a smartphone, exactly like a smartphone, but it has no internet. So my son can't do Snapchat or TikTok or any of that. But he still can text to his friends. He still can have conversations. He still can listen to, there's like a music app on there. And so it still works really well. He's 14. He's totally satisfied. It's just the standard in our house. I just don't even want to have a conversation about internet until he is over 18. He can use the computer in our living room. And it just is safer that way. Having my adult girls, where I tried to monitor it with apps, it was kind of a nightmare and stressed me out. I always felt like I was missing something. I really much prefer the Gab internet-free kids phone. Totally worth it. Okay, they also have a smartwatch if your kiddo is like, just want the watch instead to text you and call you. Okay, pest control is $40. My Amazon actually was more. I upped it because it was paying off like so slowly. So I did up it. I chose to do that, not because it needed the more money, but I wanted to pay off a little bit more quick. I think I had like $100 on it, and I just don't even like any money on it. And that's for my like Audible and my subscription there. Okay. My water and trash is still that $120. My gardener is still the $120. My Vivint security system is $17. Banfield was $40 for Mr. Coda, and my HELOC that I have set up was $100. Okay, I'm going to add this up really quick, get our new numbers going. We know our new number for our actual amount was $11,643. Let me tell you what the total expenses were. So it's $8,499. So I'll put that here, $8,499. We're going to take that $11,643 minus $8,499. It's going to give us a leftover of $3,144. Okay, so I'm going to take that $3,144. We're going to take it over to my closeout. All right, they have that income. I need to put here $11,643 and the bills $8,499. Now, before I do my budget, I'm just going to show you what I have done. Every week I do a check-in. So how much groceries, gas, and extras that I have spent. I take these numbers and that's what I put on my bill, my actual bill, how much groceries, how many gasoline, that's how I calculate it. So I just go on to my bank. Every Sunday I have a check-in where I sit with my husband, we go over stuff, and I write it here and we talk about the upcoming week. This got a little wonky. I'm in a no spend. I'm not supposed to be spending any extra money, but I had wonderful family come into town, and oh my gosh, guys, the window that is in the guest bedroom, the blinds, they broke. And so it actually is looking out to the street. And so I had to take some money from my reno and fix that. And I did also bring somebody whose family was really been sick for the last 3 weeks, and I just felt like they needed a little extra love. I went and brought them food. So I did spend money, but again, on no spend, I think it's really important to also remember life happens, and you really, people are more important than sticking to the no spend. I'm not saying go crazy. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm just saying that when someone's in need, it's important to be generous. So I know many people have helped me and been generous to my family when we were in need. So I don't know why I have grocery or gasoline in green, because it's actually over. So let's circle that guy in red. The only thing I stayed within budget was groceries, which was definitely a stretch because I had family come into town, but all that reverse grocery shopping really did help, even though I had a couple celebrations this month, my birthday, and somebody come into town. And I had normal grocery shopping for my family. And we've had spring break where my kids are home and eating more. Because of reverse grocery shopping, I was able to stay within budget for a very large family. I just feel like that's pretty great. It's wonderful. If you don't know what reverse grocery shopping is, you're missing out. Do it. I will put my video right here that explains step by step how to do reverse grocery shopping. Okay. So now that I got those numbers and I did my bill pay, I'm absolutely ready to close out my budget for the month. I have taken each of those paycheck breakdowns, those budget paycheck breakdowns that you saw, and I have put them on here. I've added them up. Paycheck number 1 for my debt snowball was $11.53, and then my paycheck 2 and 3 was $4.55, and so forth. So my total debt snowball was $2,124. We're going to put that right here, $2,124. Then my cash envelopes, I went to each 3 cash stuffings that I do, and I added them up, and this is how much it was, $470. And then, so we got that. Then I went ahead and did my sinking funds, the same thing. I went all 3 and added those up. We got to $300. And then my long-term savings, these are things like my savings, my little bit extra I have left over each cash paycheck, that added up to $250. Now I do savings challenges once a month, so anything that I get extra from side hustles that didn't come in when I did my closeout, I will put towards my savings challenges. Or if my husband sometimes he gets like a reimbursement for work or something, I'll put my extra monies towards that, and that will go to my long-term savings plan and a little bit towards debt. So, all right, that one was $250. So let's go ahead and take that $11,643 minus the $8,499 minus $2,124 minus $470 minus $300 minus $250. Oh, good, I did it right. Let's see here. All right, zero-based budget. So the difference, now we're going to figure out all of our differences. So I want to start with doing a visual difference of this. You can see that groceries had a little extra, but not enough to change it. So if I want to change it next month, I put it right here for myself, but I'm not going to. We had more gasoline, and they still have 3 more weeks to move. So it sounds like I need to give myself a better gasoline amount. So next month, I'm going to budget for $700. Okay, cable I'm going to keep. I'm not going to adjust that because it usually is a little bit more. I'm going to call on that and then see. This was just such a little change. I'm going to just leave it. And again, the Amazon was a change, so I actually am going to change my budget amount to $40. Okay, so now when I quickly do a look back and do my budget for April, I can easily see what I want to change, what I don't, what worked, where I didn't do good. Same going for here. I like to do a quick little overview. Let me see here, right? I have 11,643. Oops, 11,643 minus 11,200. Now remember what I said about the colors. If it's extra money, it's green. If it's less money, it's red. So 443 was extra money that I made by side hustles this month so far. In my bills, now, remember I spent too much on gasoline. I went over $114. My debt snowball, though, excuse me, was, I paid extra, so it's going to be green because it's good, right? Green, good cash flow. I paid extra $379 over the projected $1,745. And then my cash envelopes, you can see, are exactly the same. My sinking funds were exactly the same. And then my savings challenges, I actually had 50 less. And this is really actually because I paid a little extra to debt. So I didn't have quite as much to go here. So you can see good things happened. Bills were a little bit higher. Savings challenge, I saved a little bit less. But for the most part, it's pretty green. It did pretty well. and that is pretty good. So this next month, just some thoughts before I move on. I really want to work as hard as I can to create as much side hustle money as possible so that I can put a very large amount towards debt. So I want to, number one, increase side hustle. This is important. This is the only way that I actually have margin. I know it looks like I have a ton of money, but I have a ton of debt. So that's why so much is going towards debt. And I always just want it paid off faster and faster because I'm sick and tired of being in debt, which is why I have a no spend challenge going. And it is working, but I think I could even do better by increasing that side hustle money. Number two, I need to stick to side hustle or no spend. And then I need to revisit that with my family. You know, we all need reminders and like a refocus. And so I'm going to just kind of sit down at dinner tonight and have another, hey guys, remember we're on a no spend. Let's plan some fun no spend things to do this month, but let's also keep our minds focused on the goal of paying off debt and living well and, you know, making a good future for ourselves. All right. That is it. That is good. And now to reflect on my no spend, just really quickly before I show you my debt, we're going to go ahead and actually update these debt trackers. If you're new here, you haven't seen it, I have these debt trackers that help me pay off debt and be more motivated in doing it. So first though, how did my no spend go this month? Last month I had 3 red spots. This month it looks like I had 1, and it was for that food for that family that was in need, which I feel totally good about. I'm actually happy that I was able to do that because of my no spend. It allows me to be able to give to those in need, and boy, we all need a little hand up sometimes. So that's fantastic. My no spend did great. I'm going to step into a new no spend right here for the month of April. So, and if you haven't been around a while and you don't know, I'm doing a no spend for 4 months in 2024. This is in order to really rocket launch my debt payoff this year in 2024. If you don't know how to do a no spend or know what that means at all and you're interested in making sure your money is really being put to use to get your goals faster, then I'll put it in my no spend video right here that you can reference. All right. One of my favorite parts, my debt-free journey update. I really love this because it helps keep me motivated and gives me a visual where I am at. When I created my debt-free plan, I list all my debts here. And as you can see, this year so far, already 2 of them have been paid off. Now we are going to step in to what I did in March and how it went. Now, I think I did update my March one. Yeah, I did 21.24. That's how much I was able to do. So 21.24. And you can see that's pretty good. But that's less than I did last month because I was able to do more side hustles then, which is why I was saying I wanted to increase that. Okay, so in March, my goal was $17.45. First paycheck, I got $11.53 out of it. Second, $4.55, and third, $5.16, giving me an extra $3.75 towards my debt this month. All right, now we're going to update my debt tracker from the 21.24. And let's see where we are in that. So we have already completed from my first debt, paid off what I did right here, skip a coffee payoff debt. And then my next tracker was the money pot. And I just think it's fun. So much fun to see all the fun, right, colors and everything. Now I'm on my debt-free jar tracker, and this is my third debt for $2,340. And each line, I just divided by the amount of lines, 2,340 divided by the amount of lines is $215. So let's go ahead and see how many we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Okay, 6. So it's going to be 215 times 6 is 1290. Okay, so we're going to have to start a new tracker right after this. I'm going to quickly color these in, and then we'll start a new tracker for a new debt, which means that my third debt will be paid off today. Right after this video, I transfer the money and paid off it is, which It's all in a total HELOC. So if those of you that are new, I started doing a debt snowball 3 years ago. It did really well, but as you all know, credit card debt has crazy interest rates, 29, 27, 14, all over the place. And there's minimum payments there, and there's fees everywhere. And so I had the ability to take a second out of my house. I had a lot of equity in my house, so I took the smallest HELOC I could to pay off all my debt, and comboed it at a fixed 3.99 APR. And so this has really intensified the payoff. I'm just excited to pay it off and really get ahead on my debt. There's a few things to know when you're doing it. You need to be a really disciplined person. You don't want to do this and get back into debt. It's dangerous if you don't have that discipline to be in debt, open up another line, and spend more debt. So do consider that in your personality when opening one. Make sure you have that fixed low APR for as long as possible. After you do that intro rate, it usually goes up to what the market value is, which is pretty high right now, right? So those are some things to consider. How fast, how long it would take you to pay it off. Is it worth it for you? For us, we weighed all the pros and cons, and it was for us. So that's what we decided to do. But please make sure to do your research and make sure you're picking the right for your family. All right, let me color these in and we'll go from there. All right, it's all paid off. I'm super excited. It's such a great accomplishment. So I'm going to mark off this next one. This third debt has been paid. And if you're looking for how to create a plan, please go and watch my How to Make a Debt-Free Plan, or my plan in 2024. I'll put that up here as well, because without a plan, it was like I was just throwing snowball, and it felt like this helpless abyss of never going to be out of debt. And this has really made it so I can visualize it, see it, and knock it out of the park. So we are on to debt number 4, which means I'm going to go to my next tracker here. This is step towards debt free. So we need to go ahead and put the debtor here, which is, I'll put number 4. Let me get a different pencil here. Okay. Number 4. And the goal is to pay off $2,600. So the amount per step, oh my goodness, I have no idea. Let me count these really quick. Okay, so there's 64 steps. I'm going to put that here. All right, there's 64. So let's take, and we had $1,290 on the other one. I first want to not miss that number. 2124 minus $1,290. That's how much we paid on the other one. We have $836 to apply to this, but let's first see how much each step will be. $834, excuse me. So 2,600 divided by 64 is going to be about 40 per line. 834 divided by 40 is, we're going to do about 20 of these lines today. Ooh, that's exciting. So let me go ahead and do these really fast. I love doing things like this that help motivate me. And I'm not even like a huge color in person, but I gotta be honest, being able to see visually me moving forward and checking off these boxes, each box representing hard work that I've done, hard side hustles, and things that I have done to pay off debt, it is what absolutely motivates me. All right, that's it. Oh, I love seeing that I am just stepping towards that freedom of my 4th debt already in April. That is so exciting. I really hope that I can just be like so much progress next month because I've decided to continue that no spend, really push into those side hustles. If you don't know what side hustles to do to make extra money, I have done them all, from Uber Eats to DoorDash, Instacart, YouTube, typing online. I mean, if you name it, I've done it because they work, and every extra dollar really helps you get out of the situation you're in or to create the situation you want to be in. All right, so I will put that how to do some more side hustles to get to where you want video right here. But I want you to remember to always, always please find that joy in the journey to make it a little more fun. And of course, I will see you next time.